God within us, God is not external, but resides within each of us. The power of imagination is the power of God, limitless and ever present. Imagination and creation, our imagination, is a divine tool that reflects God's creative power. What we imagine and believe can be manifested in the physical world. Faith and belief, faith is essential in realizing our desires. The outer world may present challenges, but we must trust in the divine power within us, knowing that God's will is above all. Living from the end to manifest our desires, we must live as though they are already fulfilled. By embodying the end result, we align with divine power and bring our desires into reality. Divine purpose and alignment, everything in life serves a divine purpose. Surrendering to the divine plan and aligning with it leads to fulfillment and manifestation of our true potential. This summarizes the key themes and principles from the speech that highlight the power of God's presence within us, the creative force of imagination, and the importance of faith and alignment with the divine plan. God is not separate from us, He is within us, living through us. The very essence of God is woven into our being, existing not in some distant or unreachable place, but in the depths of our consciousness. When we begin to understand this profound truth, we start to realize that the power of creation, the divine spark that fuels everything in existence, is contained within us. The most powerful force in the universe, the force that gives life, shapes reality, and governs the flow of all things, is not out there somewhere, but is an intrinsic part of our own inner nature. God is not above us in a distant heaven, He is within us, as close to us as the thoughts we think and the feelings we feel. The power that resides within us is not a weak or limited force. It is the same power that created the universe, the same power that governs the laws of nature and holds the stars in their places. We are not mere mortals struggling in an indifferent world. We are divine beings, expressions of the infinite source. Our thoughts, our beliefs, and our imaginations are channels through which this divine power flows into the world. Just as God's imagination created the world in the beginning, our imagination, too, has the power to shape and recreate our lives. The thoughts we hold in our minds are not just fleeting ideas, they are seeds planted in the soil of our consciousness, and they grow into the experiences of our lives. What we imagine becomes our reality, because the same creative force that shaped the universe works through us as we tap into this power. Imagine the power of your own mind. Think for a moment about how effortlessly you can imagine a future, create a vision in your mind, and begin to feel the reality of that vision. When you imagine something, you are not merely daydreaming, you are aligning with the creative force of God that exists within you. Every thought you think has the potential to create, to manifest, and to bring into being that which you focus on. The power of your mind, your imagination, is not just a mental exercise, it is a spiritual tool. In the same way that God created the world through His word and thought, you too create through the words and thoughts you entertain. What many fail to understand is that God's power within us is not something we must search for outside of ourselves. It is already there, already activated within us from the moment we were born. The divine power that gave life to the universe, that created the stars, the oceans, and the mountains, is within you. Your imagination is your connection to this divine force. When you use your imagination to picture a better life, to envision your dreams coming true, you are using the same power that created everything in existence. It is not your imagination alone, it is the divine imagination that is working through you, bringing your dreams to life. The key, however, is not simply to acknowledge that God is within you, but to recognize the immense power of this truth. When you truly understand that God's creative force is always available to you, you begin to see that the only limits to your life are the limits of your own imagination. There is no desire too big, no dream too impossible, because you have access to the same creative power that formed the entire universe. The only thing that limits you is the degree to which you trust this power, the degree to which you believe that it is active within you and that it can bring your desires to fruition. When you align your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions with the knowledge that God's creative power is within you, you can manifest anything you desire. The divine presence within us is the key to unlocking the limitless potential we possess. To connect with this power, we must learn to quiet the noise of the outside world, to still our minds and turn inward, to the place where God resides within us. It is in this sacred space of stillness, where we align our thoughts with divine will, that we can begin to create the life we desire. The more we tap into this inner source, the more we come to realize that we are not just passive participants in the world, we are active creators, co-laborers with God, shaping our reality moment by moment through the power of our thoughts and imagination. God is not outside of us, judging or observing from a distance. He is within us, guiding, creating, and living through us. Our imagination is not merely a tool for fantasy or daydreaming, it is the most powerful creative force at our disposal, a direct connection to the divine. The power of imagination is something many overlook, yet it is through this gift that we shape our realities and bring forth the life we envision. Imagination is a divine power. When we imagine, we are co creating with God. It is through our imagination that the invisible becomes visible, the unreal becomes real, and the unseen becomes seen. In fact, our imagination is one of the closest connections we have to the divine presence within us. Just as God used his imagination to create the world, we too use our imagination to create the world we wish to experience. Imagination has the ability to transcend the physical world, to reach beyond our limited perceptions, and to tap into the infinite possibilities that the universe holds. When we close our eyes and imagine, we step into a world beyond the senses, a world where anything is possible. This is the space where creation happens. The moment we imagine something, it begins to take form in the unseen realms. Our thoughts are not just fleeting ideas, they are seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe, ready to grow and manifest in the physical world. This divine power of imagination is not bound by time or space. We can imagine ourselves in a future that hasn't yet arrived, and in doing so, we align ourselves with the frequency of that future reality. Imagination is a bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the dream world and the material world. What we imagine, we ultimately create because the power of imagination operates within the laws of creation, just as the universe itself operates according to divine laws. Every time you imagine something, whether it is a goal, a vision, or a dream, you are planting a seed that will eventually blossom into reality. This is the law of creation, and it is as certain as the law of gravity. However, there is more to imagination than just visualization. To truly harness the creative power of imagination, we must not only picture our desires but feel the emotions associated with them. Imagination is not just a mental exercise, it is an emotional experience. The deeper the feeling we attach to our imagined reality, the more powerful the creation becomes. It is in this feeling state that the energy of our desires is activated. When you imagine not just with your mind but with your heart, you are aligning your vibration with the divine energy of creation. This is where miracles happen. The divine imagination is a force that transcends human limitations. It operates beyond the boundaries of time and space, and as such, it holds the power to manifest the impossible. The more we practice imagining from a place of faith and belief, the more we see that the universe responds to our desires with the precision of a divine plan. There is no separation between our imagination and God's will. As we imagine, we are expressing divine will, for our desires are planted in us by the very source of creation. Every time you picture yourself as successful, healthy, or fulfilled, you are aligning yourself with the infinite possibilities of the universe. Imagination also frees us from the constraints of the physical world. The challenges, obstacles, and limitations that seem so real in the material world are nothing more than temporary illusions when we tap into the power of imagination. Through imagination, we transcend the physical limitations and enter the realm of pure potential. The more vividly and consistently we imagine our desires, the more they begin to take form in the world around us. Imagination is not a mere escape, it is the highest form of creation. To truly understand the power of imagination is to realize that we are the creators of our own experiences. The world around us is simply a reflection of what we have imagined in the past. Our thoughts, beliefs, and imagination shape the experiences we have, whether we are aware of it or not. If we want to change our reality, we must change what we imagine. By focusing our minds on our desires and immersing ourselves in the feelings of their fulfillment, we align ourselves with the divine power that is always present within us. This is the power of imagination at work, the power to bring forth what we believe, what we feel, and what we vividly imagine into our lives. In the end, our imagination is the key to unlocking the life we desire. It is not merely a fantasy, it is a divine tool, a connection to the creative force of the universe. When we use our imagination in faith, when we imagine our desires with conviction and emotional intensity, we are co creating with the divine. The more we imagine, the more we experience the unfolding of our desires, as the universe works in harmony with the power of our creative minds. Through imagination, we are not just dreaming, we are shaping reality itself. Faith and belief are two of the most powerful forces we can harness in our lives, especially when it comes to manifesting our desires and creating the reality we desire. Faith is more than just a feeling of hope, it is a deep, unwavering trust in something greater than ourselves, something that operates beyond the realm of physical senses. Belief, too, is a powerful force. It is the mental acceptance of something as true, even if we cannot yet see it with our eyes or touch it with our hands. Together, faith and belief form the bedrock upon which all creation is built. Without faith and belief, our desires remain unmanifested. For it is through these two forces that we activate the divine power within us and bring our dreams to life. The power of faith is often misunderstood. People may think of faith as a passive waiting for something to happen. But in truth, faith is active. It is not about passively hoping for things to change, it is about trusting in the unseen. knowing with certainty that the divine will bring your desires into being. Faith is the force that bridges the gap between what we desire and what we experience in the physical world. When we have faith, we are not concerned with how our desires will manifest. We trust that they will, even if we cannot yet see the evidence of their existence. This trust is an expression of the divine law of creation that what we believe in our hearts, we will eventually see in our lives. In Neville Goddard's teachings, faith is the key to unlocking the creative power within us. God is not a distant, separate being who decides whether or not to grant us our desires. God is within us and we are co creators with Him. To manifest our desires, we must have faith not only in the divine power within us, but in our own ability to shape our reality. This faith is the foundation of our belief. It is the assurance that our desires are already realized in the spiritual realm, and our task is to align ourselves with that truth. Belief is the fuel that propels us forward on the path of manifestation. When we believe in something, we align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with that belief. Belief gives our desires energy and momentum, helping them to materialize in the physical world. When we have a deep belief that our desires are already fulfilled, we begin to live as though they are already a reality. This is the essence of living from the end, as Neville Goddard teaches. To believe in your desires is to accept that they are already part of your life and to feel the emotions of having already achieved them. This belief is the key that unlocks the door to the reality you seek. Faith and belief also act as a shield against doubt and negativity. Doubt is the opposite of faith. It is the mental state that questions whether our desires can really come true. When we doubt, we block the flow of divine energy and creation. Faith and belief are the antidotes to doubt. They act as the protective forces that keep us aligned with the truth of our desires, even when the outer world seems to tell us otherwise. The world may present challenges or circumstances that seem to contradict our desires, but faith and belief allow us to rise above these temporary appearances and trust that our desires are already on their way. Faith and belief also require us to embrace the unknown, to trust that what we cannot see is just as real as what we can. This is where many people falter. They become attached to the physical evidence and the limitations of the material world. But true faith is not based on what we see with our eyes, it is based on what we feel in our hearts and what we know in our inner being. When we truly believe in the power of the divine within us, we understand that our desires are already taking form in ways that may not yet be visible. Our faith allows us to hold steady, even when there is no visible proof, because we know that the creative power of God is always at work, bringing our desires into being. Faith and belief also lead to a sense of peace and assurance. When we have faith, we no longer feel the need to force things to happen. We trust in the divine timing and the perfect unfolding of our desires. This peace is a natural byproduct of faith and belief. It is the inner knowing that all is well and that our desires are already on their way. Faith and belief allow us to live in the present moment, fully trusting that everything we need is already provided for, even if we cannot yet see it. In the end, faith and belief are the foundations of creation. They are the forces that connect us to the divine power within and the power of the universe itself. When we trust, when we believe, we activate the law of creation and allow our desires to unfold. Faith and belief are not just mental exercises, they are powerful spiritual tools that guide us, protect us, and bring our dreams into reality. By cultivating a deep faith and unwavering belief in the divine power within us, we align ourselves with the flow of creation and begin to see our desires manifest in the world around us. Living from the end is a profound principle in the art of manifestation, a principle that challenges us to not just hope for our desires to come true, but to actively embody them in our present reality. This practice is rooted in the understanding that the future we desire already exists in the realm of consciousness. And it is through the act of living as though our desires have already been fulfilled that we bring them into the physical world. It is a radical shift in perspective, moving from a mindset of lack and longing to one of certainty and ownership. To live from the end is to embody the state of the wish fulfilled, to step into the person you would be once your desires have been realized, and to see the world from that vantage point. When you live from the end, you are no longer waiting for circumstances to change before you feel good, before you feel successful, or before you feel abundant. Instead, you are consciously choosing to feel those things right now, to feel as though your desires are already present in your life. This is the core of Neville Goddard's teaching, that the inner world precedes the outer world. The key to manifesting what you desire lies in your ability to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the state of already having what you want. This doesn't mean pretending or faking it. It means genuinely stepping into the energy of your desires as though they are a natural part of your experience. Living from the end requires deep faith and trust in the unseen. It is not about waiting for external evidence or for things to change before you feel that your desires are already yours. In fact, The moment you align yourself with the feeling of fulfillment, you have already crossed the threshold into the reality of your desires. The outer world, with all its appearances and limitations, may try to convince you otherwise. But when you live from the end, you know that the external circumstances are simply lagging behind the internal shift that has already occurred. It is only a matter of time before the material world catches up with the energy and vibration you are now embodying. This practice of living from the end is also about making decisions from the perspective of the person who has already achieved their goal. You don't make decisions based on fear, doubt, or scarcity. You make decisions from a place of confidence, knowing that what you desire is already on its way to you. It is a mindset that shifts from seeking and striving to knowing and receiving. When you live from the end, you act as though the manifestation has already occurred. Your choices, your actions, and your behavior are all aligned with the truth of your desires, and this alignment naturally brings them into your experience. This principle can be applied to any area of life, whether it is health, wealth, love, or success, by shifting your thoughts and actions to those of someone who already has what they want. In this practice, the feeling of the wish fulfilled becomes the most important aspect. It is not about visualizing your desires as something you want in the future. It is about feeling the emotions of having already received them. The more real the feeling of fulfillment is to you, the more powerfully you can bring that reality into your life. The emotional state of having your desires fulfilled is the energetic blueprint that the universe responds to. When you truly feel the joy, peace, and gratitude of already having what you want, you begin to radiate that energy into the world. And the universe responds by bringing those things into your physical experience. Living from the end also helps to dissolve any feelings of lack or limitation that may be blocking your manifestation. When you fully embrace the feeling of already having your desires, you release the grip of scarcity and start to see the world as abundant, as full of opportunities and possibilities. This shift in perception is powerful because it breaks down the barriers of doubt and fear that often prevent us from realizing our dreams. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, you focus on what you already possess internally, emotionally, and spiritually. When you live from the end, you realize that you are never truly separate from your desires. They are already an integral part of who you are. This way of living is not just about mental discipline or positive thinking, it is about a fundamental shift in consciousness. It is about realizing that everything you desire already exists in the quantum field, and it is your role to align yourself with that energy, to step into the identity of the person who already has what they seek. By living from the end, you naturally draw your desires to you because you are already energetically aligned with them. The universe, which is a reflection of your inner world, begins to mirror back to you the reality you are embodying. Your life becomes a reflection of the state of the wish fulfilled. And in this state, all things are possible. Ultimately, living from the end is the key to unlocking the full potential of the law of attraction. It is about embodying your desires in the present moment, regardless of external appearances, and trusting that the universe will rearrange itself to match the vibration of your inner state. The more you live from the end, the more effortlessly your desires will manifest, because you are no longer pushing against the current of life, you are moving in harmony with. This practice empowers you to take full ownership of your creations and to live the life you were always meant to live, one that reflects your highest vision of yourself. Divine purpose is not a vague concept, but a powerful guiding force that shapes our lives, often in ways we may not immediately recognize. Understanding and aligning with our divine purpose is essential for living a fulfilled and meaningful life. It's the realization that there is a greater plan at work, one that transcends the individual, yet also resides within each of us. It is the awareness that our lives are part of a much larger, interconnected whole, and that everything we experience is designed to bring us closer to the fulfillment of our divine purpose. To align with this purpose is to align with the natural flow of life, the universal current that guides us toward our highest potential. When we begin to embrace the idea of divine purpose, we understand that every moment, every experience, and every challenge is an integral part of the process of fulfilling that purpose. There is no such thing as wasted time, no such thing as meaningless events. Even in moments of hardship, there is a lesson, an opportunity for growth, and a stepping stone that brings us closer to the realization of our divine purpose. The universe is always working in our favor, even when it seems like things are going wrong. We must trust that the difficulties we face are not signs of failure or signs that we are off track, but rather important parts of the divine plan that are meant to teach us something crucial. Aligning with divine purpose requires a deep surrender to the flow of life. It is about releasing the need to control every detail, to force things to happen in a particular way or on a specific timeline. Trusting in divine timing is key to this surrender. When we align with our divine purpose, we let go of the fear and resistance that often arise when we feel like things aren't happening fast enough or in the way we imagine. We trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, in its perfect timing. It is when we relinquish the need to control the how and when that we open ourselves to the grace and ease of divine guidance. In addition to surrender, aligning with divine purpose requires a deep sense of inner clarity. It is essential to listen to the inner promptings of our heart, to pay attention to the whispers of our soul. These inner nudges, however subtle they may seem, are the voice of the divine guiding us toward our true calling. Divine purpose is not something that exists outside of us, waiting to be discovered. It is something that arises from within as we tune into our deepest desires, values, and passions. It is through connecting with our true self, our highest self, that we can uncover the path that is uniquely ours.